introduction to the third round here. There's something that feels a little weird. At the beginning of the game, both players have a pile of resources, trade goods available. Every other round is starting out with those largely depleted, either, because they've been able to do everything that they can with their resources, but also you really don't want the perishables to be remaining. So that just feels a little weird. Maybe it helps kickstart you into the game to begin with, but it makes that first turn seem very different from what you're going to expect later in the game, and that builds up certain expectations for me. What I'm going to do with the Athenians is I'm going to spend a silver and create a hoplite. I can buy metal. I had to check that to make sure, getting me to the 5 limit that I'm allowed by the round, and then I'm gonna purchase my crap from Attica. I don't think I'll take grain because although grain generally is more valuable, I can get a pair on either grapes or, even better for trade, oil. Now there's nothing I particularly want in any of those. I might want the Nemean Games, in which case I'll go with the olive oil anyway because it's the cheaper trade deal. So I think it's more appealing. Although I only have 1 oil location and I have 2 grape locations. Oh, no, I have these guys too. Similarly, I'm going to convert, I have a metal, one of my locations. Now let's see. Corinth I can't do. I don't have an extra populace there. Now I'm outnumbered, which may mean I just want to generate out of Corinth. I have a fair amount of prestige. What can I get there? So the other thing I was thinking of was just grab the Sicilian grain, get these extra troops on the board, get my overwhelming superiority, but I might lose Corinth if I'm not careful, or at least lose the capability of being able to generate stuff there. So that's this Megaris, which unfortunately cannot produce what I particularly want. So I don't think I spent one of these. Put this here. Do I want a lot of wood for some reason? Not really. I do have trade capability for 3, 4 wood. Oh, and that's it. So what? I don't know if that's terribly valuable. So I'll grab 6 silver. And that gives me one more thing. Do I want to take a grain or do I want a wood? The extra wood lets me do a trade, so it's actually more valuable. Now I spent my prestige. I didn't have to spend it for the Athenians because they did it in their home. And I have one more action. I'm not quite sure what to do with that remaining act. I could build the army in Sicily that I'm going to want to do anyway and shift that over. I'm having a little trouble wanting to play. It's this, the kind of thinking that's involved in this doesn't really appeal to me, particularly in terms of even though it has a map, I don't feel like I'm really interacting with the map that much. The movement's so amorphous and fluid that, especially if I violate the rules, like I did here. But yeah, the movement doesn't form into any kind of lines or anything. It's not like I'm controlling territory in the way that I'm used to in a game. Granted, there is some historical reasoning for that. The armies weren't, fixed in locations. They did tend to cluster into groups like they do, but the feeling of the play is less doesn't feel like a historical military simulation at all, or a control or anything like that. And then this sort of compounding and trying to hit, trade sets that'll work for these or for getting my grain and silver. It just doesn't appeal to me as a type of play. It's a little better on camera than it was soloing it without the camera, where I'm just fucking thinking. And it may be equally interesting opposed as it is on camera, or maybe a little less. But yeah, it's really not the kind of design that appeals to me in a lot of ways. I prefer things like Brass, or in terms of Euros, Brass and Imperial, which were the games that kind of led me to say, oh, I think I might like this one. But now that I'm seeing how this plays out, I kind of understand why I put it aside, off my list. I'm like, it's too concerned with this compounding of items, like in Bazaar. All right, well, we'll keep plodding along a little further, but it's very hard to face an entire round all at once. They're fairly long, and especially if I babble this much. And each decision is just heavy. Problems Athens has is, I have this larger force. Now, I could march in and hope to win a battle. And actually, there are potential real advantages. Maybe I could siege Corinth and take his dude. The chances are low. But I might have enough of an advantage that I can win this and get some prestige off of it. It feels like a risk, though, right? And the gains have gone away. The big gain would be if I could get the territory and, muster goods there. But that means my big 5 pieces here are kind of tied up. They're doing something valuable. They're preventing these forces from moving up this way at all. Not entirely, because Boeotia is still open. So maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm overthinking this. Maybe it makes sense to attack things militarily. I'm trying to think of, well, what else can I do other than, try to produce goods and take stuff. Taking stuff's also valuable. So what, Boeotia is Thebes. There's a lot of population there. I could do interesting things with that. I can't build boats. I can't build boats with Athens. I can with some of these others. I only have 1 wood, though. It's just like this whole... Do I have a strategy? No, that's part of the problem. Normally I allow myself to flow and allow my strategy to be kind of dictated by what I have. But the layer of complexity of production of goods, etc., is so heavy. And I can see why this is appealing to people, but it's so heavy that it obscures kind of that strategic decision making at all. So I'm not able to really visualize a strategic situation. And when that happens, now, I feel like I'm trying to do opportunistic things by playing around with this trade chart and everything, and it just does not feel like the type of game it should feel like. It might feel that way if you can internalize this whole damn chart and, where you produce what, when, how, all that kind of stuff, and what you need to accomplish certain strategic plans. But I kind of am lacking both strategic plans and also lacking something which is going to drive those plans. I want to collect silver. Well, it's not clear on the map. I have to, look at it here. Okay, Megaris, but that's already been taken, and now there's not a lot of silver. Okay, so that's going to make life more difficult. I can see those kind of plans coming out over time, over a lot of plays. The question is, how does this game hook you enough to make you make those plays, to discover if there really is an underlying excitement to it? And maybe for people where the excitement is in the, in the compiling the trade goods and trying to get things is high enough that they can get to those other levels. It just feels like there's a dichotomy between the two types of players, and there would be a very small overlap of people who really like this part of the game, manipulating these different trade goods, and the potential strategic implications of it. But I could be completely mistaken. Again, I'm not a heavy Euro player, and this feels like one of those earlier heavy Euros that really obfuscates how you get from, first of all, it's obfuscating how you get from point A to point B, but also what point B you want to get to, other than just lots of prestige and population at the end of the game, however you manage that. I think this is particularly wise, and I'm probably going to break after this because it's just too hard to face. I'm going to spend a prestige to march into Boeotia with my army. The reason being, this does create the blockage that I was looking at. Yes, the Spartans can march into Attica, but if they do, it's already used up. There's not much they can do. They can siege Chalkios, which isn't that important. And then from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to launch my siege. Now, unfortunately, I need a 3 or a 4 for this siege to work. And I don't get one. So I lose a cube, and Thebes loses a cube of population, which reduces it. I'm not playing with if it matters. I don't know if it does. I thought it was only neutrals. No, I'm not playing with this. The length of the siege makes it easier to take the city, which is an interesting concept, but I didn't want to fiddle around with that because I wanted to understand the core of the game first. So that's Athens. Wants to use their Sicilians. So I will grab resources with them. Again, there's not much competition here. I don't have a philosopher available to me yet. I think there's another one kicking around somewhere here in Syracuse, which I haven't taken because it's too expensive to take. I would probably have to use this guy. It would cost me 8 silver. How much value is that? So I spent my thing. I've got 5 guys in Sicily. I'm going to grab 3 of them as grain. That'll get me 6 grain. What are the other 2? I'll actually spend these like this. The other 2, do I want oil, grape, or both? I'm going to want these Nemean games. So I will take the 3 oil as well. And now we put these back. And that uses them up. Like the die is already cast here, I made my decision. This is where that +1 would help. So let's roll. I don't get it again. And I starve the Thebans down another level. Ouch. Other action, I will sail to Persis, sell 4 oil for 4 grain, and roll a die and see what happens to the price of oil. Okay. That puts me to the Spartans. And now things are a little interesting. Sparta actually has a numerical advantage right now. But I could have a bigger numerical advantage. Boeotia hasn't been collected yet. I'm going to spend a prestige to sail over to Boeotia. And that's going to cause a battle. I got one more action. What do I want with my other action? Well, price of wood. 4 gets me 3 grain. I could build up boats. which might help me in a big way eventually. But it's kind of not that useful, I think, unless I have more merchants. That's going to cost me more wood. What's Boeotia going to give me? Boeotia can give me metal. I could build more armies with that. Uh-oh. I don't have enough oil. I can get oil from here, though. And current oil would cost me 4 for a trade-in, and 4 for this. That would be 8. I'd have to get 5 additional oil. That's not very good, so I probably am not going to trade the oil. Boeotia, metal trade. Metal trade could be 5 for 4. That's not bad. If I produce a whole shitload of metal. So what am I gonna do? Do I want to trade my wood? Yeah, I really don't know what the fuck to do. Alright, I'll trade my wood, I guess. I could move this butthead and get him out of there and hold off on my decision, because I'm probably not going to lose this shipping route. So let's just pull him back to Sparta to waste time. Alright, we get to see our first battle. I'll shuffle that up, and Athens, well, Athens could retreat. Right? Because, this is weird because the way it goes, it would cost me a prestige to retreat. Before cards are drawn, it's possible to retreat before the first round of cards. So I guess before there's any draw at all. I mean, my chances of success are low, and there's a good chance of failure. Now, does it say what retreating entails? It says one player decides to retreat. A retreat has to be declared. It doesn't specify what a retreat is, from what I can tell the way this is worded. Like, do I leave the battlefield? I don't think I do. I think I pay a prestige to stay there, and then on my next turn I had better get out of there. That's another prestige. Wow. I'm not sure what I can do. I could sail away, and Chios has extra pieces, so I could build armies there if I had metal. I can use silver instead. Crap. I'm low on prestige, so I would have to kind of take something. And if I went to take something, which I could possibly do, I can't get down here. But yeah, there's not a lot I can get to. I could take Thessalia. I'm not going to get a big turnaround. I'm just worried I'm going to lose my whole army. But I'm going to effectively lose my army anyway if I spend my prestige. Shits. I think I'm going to take my chances on a fight. Plus, it allows me to show off the combat system. It feels to me like Sparta has already won this game. The only question is, you know, can it be turned around by this big event here? So let's take a look at what the Spartans have. And I think this tells me how many... I don't know what the fuck this says. Let's look at the combat cards and see what they say. Like, I seem to remember something told you the amount of cards of each type, but I don't know what that 1-0 is. Oh, I bet you this is 3 archers at 1 prestige and 2 at 0. Okay, so these are better archers. Okay. I have a predominance of archers. So I'm going to play this one, although this might be very powerful, because I would like to hurt. Oh, I play 2 cards. 2 cards, huh? Let's look at the rolls. Every combat card, okay. So I will play an archer's advance. I'm going to actually play 2 archer's advances. That's very unlikely for the Athenians to be able to respond to. Now, they have mercenaries that I can put up against the archers. This Osthamos phalanx is stronger, although there are more phalanx cards by far than there are peltist cards. Now, I know what he has. I'm going to roll odd even on this as to which one I commit. Okay, so I'm going to commit the peltists and hold this good card. And here's what I face. Okay, so this one mercenaries is a joker. It counts as a matching formation, but so it doesn't cause casualties, but it does give a prestige. And here we have defeated him, so a casualty is caused and I get the prestige value. So Sparta has gotten 2 prestige values. The cards are thrown. We're on another round. I could pay a prestige and retreat. I'm only going to get 1 card. If I lose another unit, I end up, yeah, I'm going to want to gain some prestige. So here's what we're going to do. Sparta gets 1 card, or 2 cards, and Athens gets 1. Athens loses a card because I lost a unit. And Athens is going to play a cav and an Osthamos phalanx. Now, obviously, I only have 1 cav. I want to cancel that out with that. And I have a pair of Osthamos phalanxes. I could play this advanced phalanx, and that would grant a point to the Athenians, but instead 0 points are generated. And now we're going to be attacked again. Now, do I want to spend my point to retreat, which just ends the battle? It doesn't move me. And then I have to spend a point to move if I want to go somewhere. And that move leaves me vulnerable unless I flee by sea to Ionia. What can I get in Ionia? I can get some silver and whatnot. Or I can take my chances and see, we'll each get 2 cards this time because no pieces were lost, and see what happens. I think I'll take my chances again. I feel like the die is cast and I have to take a risk here in terms of maybe I can win this battle. Okay. I have no idea what these are. So we look here, and what do we have? Well, there are very few peltists. They're a rare card which could kill a unit. I find that appealing. A lot of archers have been played already, but I'm going to play the Osthamos because a couple of those got played. Let's see what he has. He must play both of these. He has a peltist, which cancels that out, but he also has this. So 2 of these go. 1 of these goes. And now the battle is actually over. There are no longer enough pieces for Sparta for a battle to be forced. It has to be 8 pieces. There's only 5 Spartans. This one piece can run around and hide as much as it likes and is unable to be hit. And that's one reason I might have wanted to retreat earlier, is I actually didn't have to flee. But this way I don't lose any prestige, which might have been a bad trade-off. Let's see what the hell the Athenians want to do about this. Athens has a serious problem at this point. I don't really need to do anything with him. I could spend metal and build myself a couple of units out of Chios and have something that could then grab more silver. I could spend silver as metal. Grab more silver from Ionia for a prestige point. I don't have any trade goods, and I'm at 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 feeding problem. Now I may not have to feed all these people because very clearly I'm going to probably lose some territory at this point. If that's the case, I probably want to do naval stuff. I have a wood, so how about I build a boat somewhere? Where? I could build one here and cancel out his ownership of this, but I don't have, other than this guy, I don't have an easy way to move anywhere, and I don't have anything terribly good to do. Do I want these? I don't know. They both like to build statues. There are no statues. I can't think of any really strong advantage to having those cities unless I start losing other cities. I don't have trade goods except silver, which will of course depress the prices of grain, essentially, increase the value of other goods if I trade that. I'm a little worried about the Spartans coming in here and taking this. They can't do anything with it now, but they could, by keeping an army based there, they can do the historical raids on Athens and just keep taking all the Athenian grain. The silver, which actually they couldn't get to, but whatever. Gosh. I don't know what the fuck to do at this point. Well, I think we want to build us a boat. Do we want to build... See, I can build armies at Ionia. That's the advantage of that. Alright. I think here at Chalkis, I am going to build myself a ship. That gets me more units up near the front. Granted, I can move my units. One of the things is I can't leave this empty because of Corinth. And then for my second, I'm going to spend the big 6 that I know I want to spend and start building Socrates. I'm sorry, Socrates. And move this here. Okay. Puts me on Sparta. Sparta wants to spend one of their many prestige to grab Boeotia. What do I want here? I need oil. I need at least 3 oil. Right? No, I need at least 1 oil. Okay. And what else? I like the idea of silver. And if I'm getting a deal on oil, I might as well get 2 resources instead of 1, right? I don't know. Because I'm only going to have 2 oil left. Not enough to make that trade. The grain might be more valuable. Where am I going to get grain otherwise? Messenia is down there. That's, I don't know. Macedonia, possibly. Trade. Is there oil that I'm liable to get anywhere? I haven't scored Lacedemonian yet, which is interesting. Okay, so I'll do this. Oh, not there. Shit. Where's Boeotia? Boeotia's here. Okay, totally different setup. So I want it maybe 3 oil. Let's get 6 metal. That's what Boeotia is good at. Do I only want 1 oil if that's the case? I don't know. Metal's not going to be easy for me to trade. So yeah, let me grab 6 metal and 3 oil. And this disc goes in. I guess I placed it there already. That's one of my 2 actions. What about the other one? Well, I don't want to move or do anything too telegraphy. I hope I didn't take all this silver already. I don't think I moved it, but I might have grabbed 6 silver. Wow. Because I got whole bunches of money. I don't want to move him and do nothing with him. How about the games? How about I just buy the games? Oh, these are games, not a festival. Fuck. Now, I can build games in Corinth, and I doubt that there's any chance that the Athenians can take Corinth from me. But again, I'm not sure I really want to do this, but it's what I've been working towards. So let's put that up there. That's 3 big points. And shift this. And I think it's time for me to break for a while. The only thing I see left for Athens, I think, for this round, is to attempt to get enough grain to sort of survive in the position I am. I'm generating 1, 2, 3 prestige, plus this 4 here. So I'm going to have a fair amount of capability to move forces that I don't have next turn. In order to do that, I think, and part of the reason why I built these boats, that what I need to do is spend a prestige and get some boats into here. Now, how many is a good question. 2 is enough to deny this unless Sparta wants to sail more boats into play. I'm not sure this one does me any good, though. But having 2 in each of these would mean Sparta can't prevent me from moving. So I'll do this. Now, what about my second action? I think I want to start playing with trade and upping my grain capacities. The trade that I have to do is silver. Let's take a look at what Sparta has that they could trade. They have wood and metal. So I want to stay away from dropping the wood and metal markets if I can. Which means, let's take a look at the division that I'm looking at. I've got 9 silver. 9 silver means I can do a 5 and a 4. There's olive and grain that'll get me there. I don't think I want to go all the way up. I think there's an advantage to me screwing with the trade capacity that is closest for Sparta to reach. By closing out 2 of these, I might not have needed 2 ships there, but I needed 1 to get through there. So we'll do that. We'll spend 4 silver to move a boat here and get 4 grain. That gets us up to 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Another load of silver. I'll be able to increase population. That'll let me maybe start driving some troops. But here's the problem. I don't have metal right now. And if I eat up all my silver, I won't have silver. So I may want to be careful. I may want to not spend, well, I can't do this, but I may want to not spend like 5 silver on 5 grain and try to increase my population as much as possible. That I may need some silver to build some armies, so that I can start doing stuff again. All right. A little bit about Sparta now. They have all the advantages as far as I can see in terms of like any kind of naive view of the game, which is all I have right now. But I'm not so sure because again, there's enough of obfuscation going on in this game that it's hard to tell. So 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 grain I need to maintain my position. That's without capturing new things. Like, you know, maybe I want Arcadia, right? Who knows? Okay, so I need like 7 more grain to produce anything. What I have available right now, I could buy myself 3 more grain, I think, with the wood I have available. That still is available there. I don't really have to worry about Athens playing around in the commodities markets. The only thing they can do is increase the value of my commodities by using silver. I also have a ton load of silver, which is an awesome flexibility. All right, let us see. I would like to get maybe more olive. No, I got nowhere to deliver it. So the other thing I could do is I could trade my wood, 4 wood for 3 grain. That's not a bad deal. But I have a couple of ships left. Now I could also trade some metal for silver. Again, not a bad deal at all. We're looking at 5 metal for 4 silver. Chances are the silver is worthwhile. Just because it can be substituted, but in batches. Another choice is I could go for control of an area and try to build fleets. But I do have some wood. But I'd be giving up victory points here if I built a fleet. Gela, I'd have to move the fleet. That would be a prestige point. That's another victory point. What else do I own that could build fleets? I can't build them out of Sparta, of course. Thebes, I think, is another place I can't build fleets out of. You know, so whatever I do to build fleets, I'd be giving up population that's going to give me prestige if I feed it. So I don't think I want to go for the fleets particularly. So let's trade that wood instead. 4 wood for 3 grain. Roll a die. Probably have to trade silver at some point to get these prices back down. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ouch. I can't do another trade. So what is my other action? Well, there is grain here, and that would actually get me... That would get me an olive that I don't fucking need. Anywhere else that's open that has grain? Well, Macedonia has grain, and that actually has wood. I could combine grain and wood. The wine's not useful to me. It would take something that's worth victory points away. Why don't I go up there? Do I want to do that right away? Yeah, that's a good question. Or do I want to buy things? What's Achanaria? That's silver. Not bad, but... Geez, I don't know. Alright, I'll spend a prestige and move my army up here. It's not really the order I would have liked to have done it in. I would have liked to have sieged. I would have liked to have moved and sieged instead of doing this trade, but whatever. Athens, since the grape markets are mainly under my control right now, I'm gonna sail to a grape market and spend 3 silver for 3 more grain. That gets me caught up. I get 2 die rolls of grapes, but that just reduces it to maximum. And I think I'm passing at this point. That puts it over to Sparta again. And Sparta can do whatever they want at this point. First I'm gonna siege the town that I wanted to siege. It's at 2, so chances are I can get it. I do. Prestige for that. Hey, another victory point there, but I need more grain now. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 grain I need. Luckily I have a couple of trades left, but they can't get me grain. Route. I have prestige I can spend. That's what it's going to come down to, I think. Okay, but I do spend a prestige on Macedonia, where I will grab myself 3 grain, and I have 3 more spaces. I can grab either grapes, which I can't trade easily, although if I move both my boats into here, I would have access to grape markets and olive markets that I don't currently have, so maybe I want to do that. But if I'm going to build ships, I used up all my wood, but maybe I want to. I don't know. Where do I have Gela? I'm looking at places where I have victory points and too many people. Gela I could build a boat with. I don't know what this is. I certainly cannot build more boats there. Yeah, so I could build 1 more boat. Okay, so I grabbed, where am I? I grabbed my 3 grain. What do I want to take? Do I want to take wood? Well, or grapes? And I don't want to take both, right? Is there a 3 grape trade? There is not a 3 grape trade open to me right now. I think I'm going to take 3 wood instead, because I see a purchase for wood coming up very shortly. Now what? Now what do we take? Well, we could actually invade Ionia, of all places, which would normally be off limits, but the fleets have moved. And there's access this way. Interesting. What can Ionia get us? Ionia is worth silver and grapes. Grapes aren't useful to us unless we can get 5 of them and control of the Cyclades. I have 2 more trades available. I need more grain. So I'll spend a prestige, is 3 wood useful anywhere? It's not. I'll spend a wood to build me a boat out of Gela. That still gets me, oh no, wait. Maybe I want to spend 2. Hold on. Okay, so I keep comparing to this. It's not this, it's this number that's important. So I don't have victory points coming out of Thebes. I don't have them coming out of there, which I thought I was going to. I have less points coming from Athens too. I was comparing to the wrong number. So I have a point here. Okay, so I can only pick 1 port that I can build out of, though, at a time. So why don't I spend 2 wood and build 2 ships here. Now, 5 ships. There aren't enough ships that I could get a naval battle with the Athenians, which would be a useful thing. So maybe we want to spend that additional wood, build something else. This is a place that I'm not likely to be able to hold for very long. And now I would like to control some naval access. So I'll spend a prestige to move 2 more ships here. I've gotten that. If I could get 1 more boat, I could dominate. Actually, screw that, man. I don't need this so much. What I really need is to prevent Athens from being able to trade at all. Why don't we just do that? I want to protect this more than I want to protect this. Now, I could cancel out Athens' control of this with another prestige. I don't see a need for that right now. So let's move on. Do I want Ionia for some reason? Yeah, there's big population. That's a victory point city. All right, let's go there. We sail down to Ionia. We siege Ionia. We succeed. Gotta score this. Now we could take the Ionian points. I assume we want them. So I'll put a disc here in Ionia. That's going to be worth 3 silver. So that's 3 of my, or 2 of my 5. I got 3 left. I could grab a whole shitload of grapes, which I could trade by coming around this, whoops, through Corinth. Sounds good. So I already took 2. That means I got 3. I get 6 grapes for that. Let's do a trade for grain. Again, what do we have? 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 grain we need. That'll allow us some growth. So let us send, grab a bunch of silver. Let us send 5 grapes for grain. That gives us a grape we're going to lose. I don't know. Get 5 grain for that. And we increase the price of grapes by 3 spaces. Or decrease the price of grapes. Okay. Now we're not limited by the 2 per turn, so we could do something else. We have a whole shitload of silver. Do we want to turn silver into grain somewhere? We could turn 5 into grain here, or 3 there. I like the idea of decreasing, increasing the value of metal. So I am going to spend 3 silver to send this here. And did I grab the grain? I don't think I grabbed the grain. I don't know if I did anything. I don't think I grabbed the grain. I'm not going to look back. And the price of metal is going to bottom out. There's actually 2 die rolls, but that's sufficient. Okay. And I'm out of merchants now. I have no more capacity to build them without spending silver. I would like to take another space. This might be the time to just grab that shit. and deprive the Athenians of everything. I think so. I think we move here. Now, I could use my little diplomat, but that would cost me $3 of silver instead of moving. Hold on, maybe I don't want to move. $3 of silver would get me that, but then I wouldn't have my army in position. What about Archaea? That's a little bit fancier. That hasn't been collected from. And I could get a bunch of stuff there. All right. The danger here, though, is it's possible that Athens could build an army and siege this if I have my dude there. So, shitty, shitty, bang, bang. And this is cheaper to maintain because I can build more armies. Might want to build more armies. Indeed I do. I'm going to spend a medal to build another army here in Sparta, just so that I don't have to pay maintenance for the fucker, because it's not getting me any victory points. Thebes is a similar situation. Well, why don't we not take the Spartan and take the Theban? Put that there. Is there anywhere else that we have this advantage? Yeah, let's build the unit in Sparta as well. Remember, I'm not limited. And then let us shift. Do I want to take Arcania? Grab some silver from there in exchange. Yeah, why not? I don't know. Okay, so I'm going to prestige move. Is this just a 1? No. This is. I'm going to prestige move here. I'm going to siege that. That's a 1 or a 2. Yeah, that's a failure. However, Arcania, which is Corcyra, loses a population from the siege. Well, you know, once you commit to doing something, you gotta do it, man. Okay, this time we got it. At this point, Athens has all kinds of extra population. So they're gonna be able to raise, if I take Chalkis or whatever, they're going to be able to raise Athens' population by 3. And that means they could build an army here immediately. So I don't want to just do this with my Proxenos. So I'm going to shift forces here. And siege that. That's an automatic success. I forgot to do this before I did it. I do want to take that 4. So let me spend another prestige. Back when I was here, I had 4 units there. Archanasos gets me 3 silver. And I have no use for grapes. Although if I take 1, I save 1. That might be worth something. Alright, so let's take 1 grape and let's take 3 metal. Just because. Right? Okay. Now we've moved here. I already grabbed this, but I didn't replace the disc. I gave myself the prestige, etc. I can't claim that. I think I'm done. Let's count my grain and make sure that I don't have a problem here, because, well, it's not like I can really trade. I could spend a silver on another boat. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yeah, I'm fine. That's about where I was before, but I spent some things and got some things. All right, so we're going to call that the end of the turn. And now we go through the end of the round stuff. And 4 for Socrates. I think Athens can just surrender at this point. 3 for the games in Corinth. Okay. Supply. Athens owes 1 grain. We said 15 here. That'll drop us to 5 grain. Growth. I'm going to grow my 3 because I don't really have anything much to do. And then over here, here's the big question. I've got 5 extra grain. I would like to grow. This is a megalopolis. This is hard to make one. This is a megalopolis. This is not. So let's grow that. This is... Thebes is hard to get. Okay, so that leaves me with 4 grain. I could up some additional locations. Do I want to? Population feels like a really iffy thing in this game. I have a big enough army and fleet already. Starting the next turn with a couple of grain might be worth something. Well, can I bonus anything for victory points still? So let's take a look. Already, need too many, already. Need too many, but I do have a lot of metal. Unfortunately, I don't have enough metal. I don't have enough metal and manpower to throw down a 5 set. If I could throw down a 5, it would definitely be worth it. Yeah, I don't think it is. Already. This could only grow by 2 already. I'm sorry, not too hard to grow. I don't see any real reason for growing my population. Which, again, this feels weird. It feels like maybe I'm missing something, but it feels like you should be trying to increase the size of the civilizations in your league or whatever. Or certainly at least in your capital. But I see very little reason to do so beyond the can I get the megalopolis victory points from it. Speaking of which, don't have one in Athens. Let's count them here. 1. Got an extra guy there. Should turn him into an army. Don't have room. Could have thought better. 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like 4 prestige for my cities. Storage. We lose half our grain and half our other goods over here. Yeah, that sucks. All that extra grain. Grain is supposedly valuable. Not if you lose all your cities. Do I want to exchange any prestige for silver? No, I don't think so. It's hard to tell, but I can't imagine. So I need resources. Silver is a resource. But, Jesus, I'm going to need prestige too. I can't build my 3 military that I would be able to build here. So I am actually going to exchange 1 prestige for 1 silver. Now this is kind of interesting. This tax is on allied city-states. Basically, you can expend a prestige for each silver. There are no allies for Athens anymore. I don't know who I'm turning my prestige in to get that silver, but by the rules, I'm allowed to do that. Prep for next round, and I've got a die in here. Okay. Round track moves. We have have some cleanup of discs and merchants. Cleaning up a couple of objects. We have this Temple of Apollo, not available. Democritus, a nice big expensive philosopher. I thought we had him. Thinking Socrates, I guess. They're the same value, right? Not quite. Democritus is worth less at the end of the game. And Protagoras, an even less valuable philosopher, but within the price range of Athens. And the card we shuffled for Eruption of the Etna Volcano. The eruption of Etna in Sicily reduces the production in the region for this round. The player that collects Sicily this round can only use 3 hoplites maximum. I'll put that there to remind me. Hey, we had an event. I think I'm going to quit here. I honestly just don't think that there's any chance for Athens to turn things around. They have a few silver. They have problems they need, and not a lot of prestige. They have a few problems. If they want to do any trading, they have to get their boats here. If they want to do anything to conquer territories, they need to build up an army. They've only got 3 silver. They're not going to be able to even try to take land, or try to collect resources without playing that. I just don't see that they're going to be able to catch up. If we look at their current value, they've got 7, 8, 9... 13 prestige points, add 4 of these, whatever. It puts me to 17. If we look here, we're looking at, not 7, 8, 9, 2, 3, 4, 8, 12. Okay. If we look here, I don't think I have any that carry over. I've got 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. I don't think that Athens is going to be able to churn its engine in any way to create a military advantage for themselves. So there's just not a lot I'm going to be able to turn around in my favor. With all this territory held by Sparta, with armies on the board, with as many fleets on the board, it's going to be a whole lot easier for Sparta to generate the resources to be able to continue playing, essentially. We're on the last turn of the game coming into it, but I don't see a value to doing it. And the game is just too complex to process. In terms of there would be a fairly high cost mentally for me to play out this last turn, even though there doesn't look like there's much going on. So a lot of times in a war game, I'll fight out a foregone conclusion just to see how it ends out. With this, I just feel like I'm too often trying to figure out some little way of squeezing out a little advantage or something, rather than, well, can I hold off Athens until it falls? Yeah. First of all, the game doesn't allow it to fall, even though historically that eventually did happen, except by, hey, I have no grain for the people that are there. I can't kill the people. I lose the city. I lose the game. I think I can avoid losing the game that way, but I don't see any path forward to winning the game. I'm going to have to struggle to just make trades even. I don't have resources. I'm going to get first shot, but I can't even collect in Attica, right? Without getting more armies than I can physically build. I need to build 3 silver and get this guy down there, and there's just no way. I still won't be able to collect from Attica because I'll have a smaller force. So Sparta has strangled Athens in this case. How the fuck did that happen? You wouldn't expect that I'd just blunder into a victory with either side of that size. And I'm not sure what the big mistake I made with Athens was. I'm certainly not going to say I was brilliant with Sparta. But Athens screwed something up. At this point in most games, I can look back and say, I know what I screwed up. I'm not sure here. If anything, I cheated for Athens accidentally. But yeah, it just, is it grain? Did Sparta manage to get better grain supplies than Athens? I can't even picture it, you know? The game does not tell me a story. And it takes a story to learn from the game for me, you know, to learn what did I do wrong. It's very similar in that extent, in that sense, to something like Bazaar that's extremely abstract. The more complex you make an abstract game, the harder I'm going to have being able to extol a story and or lessons or anything from it. And I fear this one is just really kind of an unrelated complexity of abstract transactions, you know. All right, let's send it up.